6 most disturbing cases of real found footage. Here we go. Y'all on the YouTube, y'all subscribe, follow the Twitch if y'all want to watch these live. Join my Discord if y'all want to send me videos to react to.
On August 15, 1989, a family of 3 was driving along Interstate 205 near Stockton, California when their car began to overheat.
Oh, no.
Forced to pull over, the father popped the hood to check the damage. It didn't take long to realize they needed professional help.
Wait, is this like a reenactment of what actually happened? Like, this looks like something straight out of an old movie.
Leaving the mother behind to stay with the car, the father and his young son set out on foot to find a payphone. As they walked, the boy noticed something unusual, a camouflage jacket discarded by the side of the road.
Oh.
This piqued his curiosity and he went over to take a closer look, only to find an unmarked VHS tape sticking out from one of its pockets. The boy picked up the tape and later brought it back to his home.
Yeah, this is a reenactment.
By this point,
for
his
sure.
parents were also curious about what they'd find on this seemingly abandoned tape. So they inserted it in their home VHS player and pressed play. However, the contents of the tape were far darker than what they could have imagined. Now, the original unedited video has never been made available online, but there are different pieces from various sources that I've done my best to put together. It opened with the camera pointed at a massive fire at night, with what I can only assume is the cameraman saying some ominous stuff.
Okay, this sounds like an actual, like, mentally insane person, but he's like, look at the fire! Look at the fire! He's on some Joker stuff, bruh.
This is my domain. My hell.
This
A
is
bit
creepy.
into the video, the camera refocused and the source of the fire became clear. It was a single-story home that looked like it was still under construction before it caught fire.
I call it home.
What?
My hell.
What?
The whole sky's black with smoke.
This is weird.
That I will destroy and burn your soul.
I'm getting freaked out already, bro.
I'm evil.
Meanwhile, the cameraman kept talking, and the longer he
What?
spoke, the more unsettling it became. Later in the video, you could also hear fire trucks arriving at the scene and the cameraman commenting on it before ending the video with a direct threat to the viewer.
Oh no.
The fire department's trying to put it out. What a laugh. I gotta go now.
Do they mention who this person is, bro?
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Your house is next.
The tape then
Oh my gosh, that's a person. Wait, is that him?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Your house is next.
The tape then
hell?
abruptly cut to the scene from the 1984 horror film A Nightmare on Elm Street.
I'm getting creeped out,
It
bro.
wasn't clear if the fire video was taped on top of the movie or if this was a deliberate edit. However, one thing was clear. The frightening video was filmed by the person who set the house on fire. The family handed over the tape to the police and told them exactly where and how they found it. Detectives went back to the location, and sure enough, the family's story checked out. The jacket was still there.
Okay.
But the detectives also found many other items near the jacket, including a wooden pestle, a glove, a cassette of metal music,
Is that a skull?
and a ceramic skull. They also watched the video itself, and it was unlike anything they had seen before.
I've never run across anything as eerie as this tape.
Dude, this is
frightened
weird.
me. As a matter of fact, I thought about it that night when I went to bed.
Unfortunately, the poor filming conditions and shaky nature of the footage prevented them from extracting any meaningful clues about the location of this fire. Despite a frame-by-frame analysis, investigators were unable to match the tape with any reported fires in the state of California. For all they knew, the fire could have happened anywhere in the US. As for the motive behind this action, the constant talk of hell and evil led the investigators to believe that it had something to do with Satanism.
Bro, genuinely, what has to go wrong for someone to, like, sit up here and start, like, being on some Jaden... Well, Jaden Ivey's not, like, evil, but at least I don't think so. But, like, what has to happen during, like, your childhood or something to make you, like, light a house on fire and start, like, laughing about it, bro? Like, there's so many people, especially nowadays, that just, like, go commit some serious crimes and just, like, laugh it off, bro. Like, I cannot wrap my head around the fact that people actually do that and, like, find some amusement out of it, bro. Like, does that all stem from, like, stuff that they went through as a kid?
And while this might sound a bit far-fetched today, you have to remember that back in the 1980s, major acts of evil from devil worshippers was a real concern for many people. But without any leads, this was nothing more than a theory. So, after exhausting all other options, investigators decided to enlist the help of the media and featured the story on the popular TV show Unsolved Mysteries in September of 1990. And this worked better than the cops could have ever imagined. Within 2 hours of the episode airing, investigators received over 1,000 calls from viewers with potential leads. Among these 1,000 plus callers was a man named Ed Tarantino, who got shaken to his core after seeing the found footage on TV, because he lived next to the burning house in Redwood City, California, some 80 miles west to where the tape was originally found. More importantly, the show also led the investigators to the owner of the under construction home that was burning in the video, Bill Otherly, who described the incident as the act of a crazy person.
This is about to get creepy.
And turned up, it's my house that's on the videotape. And then you heard the voice of this individual. You go, this guy ain't playing with a full deck.
This was an extremely expensive loss for Bill. The fire had completely destroyed his under construction home, costing him $900,000, which is...
What would y'all do if y'all lost $900K, bro? Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I would be depressed for a very long time, bro.
About $2.5 million in today's money.
Oh my
Meanwhile, the
gosh.
Redwood City Fire Department also confirmed the incident. As it turns out, the fire department had captured their own footage of the incident for use in future training, and parts of this fire department footage matched the mysterious tape. Cross-referencing the two videos also revealed that the arsonist was just about 50 feet away from the fireman when he recorded his video.
This is creepy, bro.
The fire department's trying to put it out. What a laugh.
Now, all that remained was to capture the culprit, but that wasn't going to be easy. According to the owner of the fire department reports, the arson attack happened in August of 1988, which is an entire year before the tape was found on the side of the road.
This is so creepy,
The only
bro.
lead the investigators had on the suspect was the name he mentioned in the video, Omar.
Forget it, Omar. This is what I've been doing on your week's vacation. I said I'll do it. I said I'll do it.
See,
It
like,
wasn't much,
how do you
and for a
laugh
while it
about
seemed like a
this?
dead end. That is, until the police received a new tip from Doris Lance, another person who saw the Unsolved Mysteries episode on TV. She suspected that the Omar mentioned in the video was referring to a 17-year-old boy who lived in the area. And when the police brought him in for questioning, he cracked almost immediately and told them everything. Omar claimed that he was silently standing off camera when the video was filmed, and that it was his 19-year-old friend who started the fire and recorded the video. The investigators were finally getting
This
close
looks
to
like
the
the dude in the
perpetrator,
video, 'cause it
but they
is.
needed more evidence before making their move, so they started tailing the alleged arsonist, observing him from a distance. However, he likely caught wind of the police because soon after
He
the
looked like
monitoring
a
started,
bad
his
kid.
garage burned to the ground. At that point, the police had no choice but to act. On September 27, 1990, they confronted the 19-year-old directly. And just like Omar, he folded without much of a fight and confessed to everything. One thing I should point out is that the authorities never publicly revealed the identities of the two boys, so I'll call the arsonist John for the sake of convenience.
Bruh.
After going through John's home, investigators also found tons of incriminating evidence that linked them to not only the Redwood City fire, but similar arson attacks on 11 other structures and 15 grass fires. This evidence included things like a picture of graffiti on a wall stating, "Please no more houses," and a news clipping pinned to the wall about recent arsons which the two boys likely caused. But that wasn't all. In the burned down garage, they discovered bloodied knives and mutilated animal parts. They also found
What?
tapes containing disturbing footage of John dressing up as a satanic vampire and threatening a humanoid sculpture with a knife.
Ew!
How you doing, Father? I hope you're doing real good.
Dude. What the hell,
But not all
bruh?
the footage was so theatrical. One of the most notable clips showed the two boys goofing around in an open field.
And now, to finish the job.
That field, as it turned out, was being transformed into a housing development.
We already did Evan.
It's likely the boys were furious about the changes and decided to take matters into their own hands by torching under construction homes to stop the developments.
Bro, what?
This would also explain the eerie graffiti I mentioned earlier. However, since both of them were minors when they started those fires, they were tried as juveniles despite the severity of their crimes. Omar was sent to juvenile detention, while John was deemed mentally unwell and was admitted to a mental institute. What happened to the two after that, we don't know. I've seen some claims that John was released from the mental institute and died in a car accident in 2017.
Wow.
And while there's no direct evidence to back this claim, I did find a news report of a hit and run in Redwood City from January of 2017. The victim of this incident was 45 years old, which aligns perfectly with the age John would have been in 2017.
Christ.
But if this is completely unrelated and John is still alive, I seriously doubt he'd reveal himself now just to satisfy the curiosity of randoms on the internet.
Yeah, how do you like do all this and then your identity stays hidden, bro? Like, if I know this dude's first and last name, I'm leaking it to the world. I don't care, bro. I don't care, bro.
As
Would
for the
y'all
tape
leak it or no?
itself, it's still unclear how it found its way on the side of the interstate.
Like, that guy does not deserve to stay hidden.
On August 23, 1987, a pair of backpackers were hiking south of the Junco Lake trailhead in the mountains near the tiny town of Tabernash, Colorado. However, what might have seemed like an ordinary hike quickly turned into an unforgettable experience that would stay with them for the rest of their lives.
Oh, gosh.
The two came across the wreckage of a crashed plane with parts scattered everywhere. They informed the authorities about the find, prompting a complete search of the area for evidence of what happened to this plane and when. While Dale Wood, a Colorado deputy sheriff, was investigating the area, his attention was drawn to a VHS tape hanging from a tree. Most of the tape's insides had
What is
come
with
out and were
everybody in
tangled in
these
the
VHS
branches,
tapes? Appreciate
but
the
he
follow
recovered
Prime.
everything he could and brought it back for restoration to a somewhat playable condition. And the footage was disturbing to say the least.
Oh, no.
The VHS contained the last moments of two men who went missing 3 years ago, the 36-year-old James Jeb Cottle and his similarly aged passenger Ronald Hugh Wilmont.
Oh my
On August
gosh.
10, 1984, the
Is
two
it deeper?
flew from the Granby Airport with the Jeffco Airport as their destination on a small Cessna L-19E Bird Dog airplane. However, they never arrived at this destination. Multiple search parties were deployed to their approximate route, but none were able to find any evidence of what happened to James and Ronald. What made their disappearance even more mysterious was the fact that the plane had an emergency locator transmitter, a device that would have broadcast its location in the case of a crash. However, the authorities never received the signal from this device, and their case remained cold for almost 3 years. That is until the pair of backpackers found the wreckage, which in turn led to the discovery of the VHS tape. The footage starts off quite normal, with the pilot
Oh,
commenting
no.
on things he sees from the cockpit.
Oh, no.
Oh, look at that down there, Ronnie, on the left. Nice little lake and a cabin.
Oh, no.
Those dead trees down there.
Oh, no.
A whole bunch of them back up in here. Those
What's
beetles.
reactions? These are reactions. We're just doing YouTube reactions for the new reaction channel.
Very
Exclamation
pretty little
reaction.
lake.
Don't tell me you're about to hear we're
However,
going down
around
some.
5 minutes into the footage, things start to go wrong as the ground starts coming closer and closer.
Oh, gosh. Wait, are they not realizing what's happening? Why are they not saying
Experts
nothing?
analyzed this footage to find out what went wrong, and apparently the pilot failed to account for density altitude before taking off. For those that aren't familiar with aviation lingo, think of density altitude as the thickness of the air. When it's hot, humid, or a higher altitude, the air becomes thinner, making it harder for planes to fly well. Pilots use density altitude to know how their plane will perform, like how much runway they need or how much weight they can carry. On the day of the crash, the density altitude around Tabernash was 13,000 feet. In other words, the air was as thin as it would be at an
gotta time
altitude
you
of
for that one,
13,000
Prime. I'm not
feet.
gonna lie, bro.
James
You
failed
gotta
to
take
account for this
10
massive
minutes for that,
difference.
bro.
When his plane came across rapidly rising mountains around 10,200 feet above sea level, he wasn't able to lift the plane in time to fly over them safely. The footage showed how he tried to quickly turn back, but stalled the plane's engine in the process, resulting in it turning over and crashing into the trees.
Oh my gosh. Wait, why are they not saying anything? Are they just silent while this is happening?
Damn, hang on, Ronnie!
Oh.
The footage also
Jeez,
explained why the
bruh.
emergency locator transmitter didn't work. The plane flipped upside down just before the crash, which damaged the transmitter, preventing it from signaling for help. It was an unfortunate incident all around. The only potentially good thing that came out of this is that James Connell's family authorized this found footage to be used in flight instructor training. So maybe somebody's life was spared because they saw this footage and remembered to adjust for density altitude
Bro,
before
that's
taking
actually
off.
sad as hell, bro. That's actually so sad.
On the 31st of May 2013, the loud noise of a tornado siren was echoing through the streets of El Reno, Oklahoma. Meteorologists were predicting a potential multiple
Is Oklahoma like known for just tornadoes, bro? Is Oklahoma just like only known for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and tornadoes, Brett? What's good, y'all? How you doing, my boy? Ripping in my arm. All right.
vortex tornado that might touch down in the area. And while this was bad news for the residents
Bro,
of El
this
Reno,
looks scary,
the rarity of
bro.
such an event also attracted a lot of storm chasers from around the United States.
I don't know if I'm missing something or what. Can someone please explain to me why people chase tornadoes, bro? Like, what is the point of chasing a storm knowing that shit could deadass suck you up at any moment in time and you're gonna be with O.J. Simpson, bro? What's fun about that? What is fun about that? Money? Bro, there are thousands of other ways to make money than chase a tornado, bro. Chase a tornado, bro. Ben, appreciate the follow, bro.
This also included
Dude,
a
that's
three-man
like-
crew of storm chasing experts. The 55-year-old Tim Samaras, his 24-year-old
no.
son Paul Samaras,
They're definitely getting
and
sucked
their partner
away, bro.
45-year-old Carl
They're
York.
definitely getting sucked
The
away,
three
bro.
had extensive experience in safely chasing twisters and gathering valuable data from
Oh,
them.
no.
They were also a part of the Discovery Channel's Storm Chasers
I already
and
know
were
what's
heavily
gonna
involved
happen.
in the show from seasons 3 to 5.
I already know what's going to happen.
In May of 2013, the trio had actually arrived in the stormy area many days earlier to thoroughly analyze the storm before giving chase.
If I'm getting 100K for 3 tornadoes, I'm risking it all. Okay, let me ask y'all this. And y'all watching on YouTube as well. What amount of money would it take for you to go chase one tornado? Let's say, I don't know if tornadoes are measured in like category 1 through 5. I don't know what it is. Let's say this is like the worst. This is like a record-setting tornado. One of the worst tornadoes to ever touch the ground. How much money would it take for y'all to go chase it? All the money in the world, $1 million, 10K. If you chase a tornado for $10,000, you are down bad, bro. 2 mil, bro. No, no amount of money would cause me to do something like this, bro. 1 till. That's not even that's not even a dollar amount. $10. Okay, we're losing a plot, bro. 100K, bro. I don't think I'm not chasing a tornado. The only way I'll chase a tornado is for like 3 mil minimum, bro. 2 or 3 mil minimum, bro. Cause like these look so scary.
Oh, I'd say this is the one.
Oh,
yeah.
they're cooked. I'm already knowing they're gonna get sucked away,
This
bro.
is gonna be the storm of the day right here.
Yeah, this is
gonna do
nuts,
it, I
bro.
think.
This is
Unfortunately,
nuts.
the May 31st twister wasn't something they could have predicted, even with their vast knowledge and experience.
Oh god.
It started around 6 p.m. when an EF3 tornado touched down in El Reno, marking the beginning of the chase.
Like, dude, this
However,
is so
it wasn't long
scary.
before the tornado started becoming more volatile.
See, the rain is behind us. Oh my god.
Why would they do this, bro? Many men appreciate the follow. Mikey, appreciate the follows, y'all boys. Say something.
What
for
was supposed to be a category EF3 quickly turned into an EF5, which is the most intense a tornado can get.
See?
But even the title of EF5 cannot fully demonstrate the terrifying scale of this particular twister.
Oh,
By the
no.
time it stopped growing, the El Reno tornado had a radius of 2.6 miles, the largest in
Christ.
recorded history. It also had a wind speed of 313 miles per hour, or over 500 kilometers per hour. Carl and the Samaras brothers were attempting to ride parallel to the tornado to
This is
observe from a
actually
safe
insanity.
distance. Unfortunately, the twister made an unexpected turn and started coming towards their car. They tried everything in their power to escape safely,
GG's.
but sadly, it was too late. The tornado flung the car into the air, sending it barreling across the El Reno region. After the storm had passed, search parties found their car, which was reduced to 60% of its original size.
That's not even a car.
And while Tim's body was found strapped inside the vehicle, Paul and Carl's bodies were found half a mile east and west of the car. All three had tragically passed away in the incident. After some more searching, authorities also found a camera which was miraculously still recording.
There's no way.
After reviewing the footage,
There's
it
no
became
way,
clear
bro.
that it had recorded Tim, Paul, and Carl's final moments. Now, as far as I could tell, the raw footage from this camera has not been released to the public, and no one has leaked it anywhere on the internet. But a select few people have seen the footage, including the crew's close friend, Gabe Garfield. According to him, he could hear Carl talking about how eerily calm the air around them had become in the moments before their end. To which Tim replied, "Actually, we're in a bad spot," before uttering his final words, "We're going to die." To this
Dude, if somebody said this to me, I don't know what would go through my mind, bro. Dog. I would never do this. No amount, I don't think any amount of money would make me do something like this, bro.
day, the story of Tim, Paul, and Carl serves as a stark warning to aspiring storm chasers, highlighting the immense danger of their pursuit. Even a team of industry-leading
This is
veterans couldn't
insane.
withstand the unpredictable fury of a twister.
I would pray. Praying is not saving you from a tornado.
On the 1st of June 2024, a YouTube channel by the name of Found Memories uploaded a video titled Tape 92
That's
Found Footage,
insane.
Jason Sleeping. The video is timestamped for 9:27 p.m. on April 22, 2007, and opens with the cameraman placing the camera in a way that faces a sleeping child.
Oh no. This is about to get weird. Let's go, Blazy. Appreciate the follow, my boy. Nah, you don't got the tech for it, Niver. Even if you did, you run in a tornado like that, GG's. Dude, what is going on right now?
Aside from the sleeping child turning a few times, nothing happens for the rest of this nearly 30-minute video. There's not even any unusual sound in the background or anything. Now, despite the footage being completely uneventful, something about this whole thing is inherently unsettling.
This is creepy.
The lack of context and the uncomfortable silence can easily turn this into nightmare fuel if you have an active enough imagination. According to the description of the video, the original tape was simply labeled as Jason Sleeping. The uploader also gave an explanation for where they found the footage, stating, "Found in a box full of abandoned camcorder videos, uploading to archive the footage. Perhaps one day someone connected to the video will see it and appreciate it." And while this provides some much needed context, it still leaves the biggest question unanswered. Why would anyone record 30 minutes of a child sleeping? So I decided to dig a bit further. The first thing that came to mind is that this is just another one of those staged, artsy, analog horror type videos. However, after going through the channel that posted this video, I don't think that's the case. The channel, Found Memories, was created fairly recently in April of 2024. The About section of the channel reads,
Good, Bixie.
"Uploading media I've found to archive, and maybe one day the original owners will find it and appreciate it. I've acquired thousands of videotapes and media over the years from various places, pawn shops, private sellers, auctions, and thrift stores to name a few. I recently had the idea to start this channel as a way to start archiving them and
I
actually
feel like
do something
this is
with
about
them.
to get really,
Maybe
really
one day
dark.
someone connected to them will find them." And this seems to be the truth. At the time of writing, this channel has uploaded over 180 different videos, and almost all of them are extremely unique in some way. From children opening their Christmas presents in
This is
1991
about to get
to a whole
really
wedding.
dark.
However, almost none of these random
Twig.
videos are
How you doing, my
creepy
boy?
or scary, with the sole exception of Jason sleeping. I highly doubt the owner of this channel filmed or acquired hundreds of random tapes just to sneak in one obscure horror video. So, they're likely telling the truth about finding the tape. But if it's not an artsy horror flick, what is it?
What is it?
Now, while it might be easy to drum up some creepy stalker story, the real explanation might be a lot simpler. More specifically, this was likely recorded by a parent who wanted to observe the sleeping patterns of their child, maybe to see if they sleepwalk or talk during their sleep. Many comments under the video also agree with this explanation, with one commenter even
Dude, I know I'm interested, but he is taking so long to get to the point of what is happening.
providing a personal anecdote to validate this theory, stating, "I'm sure they recorded to catch him sleepwalking or talking. When I was 9, I woke up in my mom's closet. My mom about had a heart attack when she opened the door and asked me why I was there.
We're watching
I said,
6
I don't
disturbing
know.
moments caught
She
on
thought I was
camera,
lying, so
Twig.
one night she videotaped me. But I didn't do it. It was a one-time thing for me. Also could be paranormal reasons. Kid been waking up with scratches, bites, could be anything. 9 times out of 10, there's really no creepy reason parents record kids. Not saying it doesn't happen now, but just way less likely. But at the end of the day, we really don't know and can't know the motives of this unnerving found footage. Maybe the channel owner's wish will come true one day and Jason, or the person who recorded this footage, will find this video and reveal the truth in the comments.
Wait, so what?
In August of
So you're telling me I just sat here for 5 minutes just for him to talk about a person sleeping and give no backstory? Are we serious? What's good, Chris? What's good, Tyler?
2021,
Bro, I thought
YouTuber
it
Rich
was gonna
Aloha
get
was
dark.
filming one of his In August of 2021, YouTuber Rich Aloha was filming one of his signature diving videos in a pool under a waterfall in Foster Falls State Park, Tennessee.
I already know where this
He
is
was
going.
excited to jump in the water in hopes of finding some treasure like a drone or an iPhone.
He's gonna hit a rock
But
or
what he
something.
uncovered instead was a lot more disturbing. After looking around on the lake floor for some time, he saw something unusual sticking out of the ground, which turned out to be a GoPro camera.
Oh.
The GoPro had clearly been in there for a while, plus the outer shell had massive cracks, which allowed water to get in and fry every electronic component. But before Rich threw the broken GoPro away, he decided to remove its SD card and plug it in, just in case it somehow survived the months underwater. And to his surprise, it was actually fully functional and had the footage of the adventures of a young man.
Oh no.
This turned out to be 22-year-old Richard Ragland, who tragically lost his life 2 years earlier, drowning while swimming beneath that very waterfall. In fact, the footage Rich uncovered had Richard's final moments in water. We can actually see him getting visibly exhausted and struggling to stay afloat near the end. The camera likely recorded his final breaths as well.
Why did he just
However,
get back
from
to
my
shore?
research, the complete footage isn't available anywhere online, and even if it was, it wouldn't be something I could show here on YouTube. Rich likely never released the complete recording out of respect for Richard and his family, which I fully understand. And while the death of such an upbeat young man is sad, at least his family got to see his last happy moments on this planet thanks to Rich finding the footage.
Dude, that's insane, bro.
On the 30th of September 2019 at 4:06 p.m., the police in Anchorage, Alaska received a call from a woman claiming to have found evidence of a horrific crime. The woman who called the police was 47-year-old
Let's go,
Valerie
Caleb.
Kassler. She claimed that she was walking around Fairbanks Street when she found an SD card lying on the ground. She picked it up and saw the words "Homicide at Midtown Marriott" written on it and thought that it might be the title of some obscure horror movie. However, nothing could have prepared her for the horrifying content that came up when she plugged in the card to view its contents. According to the reports, the card had 39 images and 12 videos, all from the same crime scene of horrible things being done to a woman in a hotel room. The person behind the gruesome footage stayed off camera, but his unmistakable voice and distinct accent were clear in the videos. And while these videos were never released to the public, the person recording them would have sounded something like this.
There through those trees you'll see the doctor's house. He's like a heart surgeon or brain surgeon or something. There's the other neighbors. And there's the tree in front
He's
of
an
the
idiot
house.
for revealing his location, bro.
And there's the other neighbors.
This is the voice of Brian Steven Smith, who quickly became the #1 suspect in the case. Apparently, he had called the Anchorage Police Department a few days before the SD card was found and complained about someone stealing his stuff. So when the cops were reviewing the footage, someone from the station recognized his voice. The person who found the SD card also recognized the carpet pattern of the hotel in the pictures. It was the Town Place Suites by Marriott, which was located just a 5-minute walk from where the card was found. Cops went to this hotel, and sure enough, Brian was checked into the hotel on the day the horrific pictures and videos were taken.
Ooh.
Further investigation
Kyrie?
into Brian revealed that he was an immigrant from South Africa and
Holy
had received
chud!
U.S. citizenship less than a year earlier. He was also working as the manager of a different Marriott hotel in Anchorage. The police also found the discarded remains of his victim during this time. Unfortunately, he had gone on vacation with his wife the day the SD card was found. However, he was arrested seconds after landing at the airport in Alaska and charged with over 13 felonies for his unspeakable crimes. Police also revealed the identity of his victim, the 30-year-old Alaskan native named Kathleen Jo Henry. Brian pled not guilty, but the evidence against him was too substantial for him to walk free. However, just as he was about to face justice, Valerie Kassler gave a testimony that could have complicated this case even further. If you remember, she originally claimed to have found the SD card lying on the road. In reality, she was hired by Brian as an escort. On her way out, she stole his phone.
bruh.
When she
Good
went
baby,
through his
appreciate
phone,
the
likely
follow,
to
bruh.
clear it, she came across evidence of his monstrous deeds. But she did not want to get involved in such a massive case, so she copied the files to an SD card and came up with the entire found footage storyline. Fortunately, the case against
Bro.
Brian was already strong enough to withstand this revelation, and he was finally sentenced to 226 years in prison in July of this year. And while this would not undo the pain and suffering Kathleen went through, at least now her family can rest easy knowing that the monster who did this to her is rotting in prison.
This is crazy, bro. This was honestly a very entertaining video. Obviously, the stuff that happened was pretty disturbing, but that's kind of the point of the video. Y'all on the YouTube, y'all make sure y'all follow the Twitch, join the Discord, sub to the YouTube. Let me know what videos we should watch next.